Welcome to this edition of Understanding Your Health. My name is Todd Scarborough, along with Dr. Tom Butler. And Tom, it's always good to see you here. And Tom, as always, we talk about fairly controversial issues here because when you look at health issues, and especially if you look at the evolution of the understanding of our health, we've gone through so many things to where we've gone through a lot of misunderstandings and knee-jerk reactions to where we cut out and kind of throw, as we say in the country, throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so what I think this show, what we want to focus on over the next couple of shows here, are the things that, and I think the way you put it was best, the things that you were told were bad for you, but actually are good for you. And in the health food business, especially in the health food arena and alternative health, we see a lot of cliquish type of groups that say, oh, the only way you can be healthy is to cut out all your animal protein or cut out this or cut out that. And in reality, what we're finding now in health are these basic compounds, these basic foods that we've run away from, demonized, and said that are bad for us, in reality are very, very good for the body, mandatory for the body, and you cut them out and you're causing harm long term. So where I want to start, and we've got a long list, a litany of products we're going to talk about. And folks, we want to tell you, you need to hang on here because what we're going to be talking about is going to give you this big deep breath. You're going to take a sigh and you're going to run out and buy some of the things you've been craving. Okay? You're going to be able to go out and eat. I mean, when you look at this list, everybody's going to go, yum, let's eat. Well, and what we're trying to do here again is focus back on these things that we're missing. And to me, I think the biggest mistake, and the number one on the list, in my opinion, and I think you agree as well, is that we've cut this particular food group out, or this compound, this nutrient out of our diet, because we think it's getting us fat. And I'm talking about fat, the old three-letter word, fat. We need to put more of that back in our diet because people who have cut out fat have not only not helped their weight loss process, they've hampered it, and then in turn hurt their health long term. So let's talk a second here, Tom, on fat, the role of fat. We're fat heads. Our brain is made of fat, right? I mean, every cell in our body, which are made of trillions of cells, is surrounded by fat. The nerve cells are fat. The skin is fat. So the list goes on and on. So what do you see, and what is your advice to your people that come in about diet and when it comes to fat and their taboos they have on fat? How do you reverse that? How do you get them to think differently?
Well, basically, I start simple and try to get them to understand that, like the components of fish, some of the most healthful portions of that is the fat.
Yes.
Let's just go back to the wild. If you ever watch a bear and he's getting ready to hibernate, it looks like he's eating the salmon. But if you watch him close, he's stripping the meat and eating mostly the skin and the fat, and he kind of chunks the rest of the fish to the birds.
the protein.
Watch next time you watch.
Yes. In fact, that's interesting because I watched that very program, and toward the end, what they do, yes, they'll eat the meat off the front end. At the end, what they do is get picky. They eat the head, which is the brain, the fat, and the eggs. They strip the eggs out of the salmon. So what is that? The fat. The last thing that they're doing is taking that fat so they in turn can fatten up. But for us, what we've done in our society, we've demonized it so much because we're fat. We're 30% of us obese classified now. And so ultimately we think that fat, if you eat fat, that in turn, that fat is going to hang around on your hips. But what we find, Tom, is just the opposite. These people who are eating fat on a regular basis, societies who are eating fat on a regular basis, are actually leaner than those who do not. Why is that?
I love one of the original studies I looked at was with cows, because farmers are pretty smart and they've been doing nutrition way longer than people.
Yes.
And they were trying to fatten up these cows kind of the cheapest way, and I understand that, but one of the interesting things they did, they tried this coconut oil, which is saturated fat.
Yes.
And what was bad, though, is it was cheaper and it was more fat content, and it was saturated fat. They couldn't seem to get the cows fatter with the saturated fat. So there's Mother Nature, and some of the things that fat does is it tells you one thing, that you're full.
That you're full, exactly.
So once the cows got into that fat, they were fuller quicker.
They didn't eat anymore.
No. Exactly. And so their meat ended up not looking as fat because they ate fat. So one of the messengers is an acid, a fatty acid, CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. Yes. And they've done studies on that, and the people that take that in, and that is fat, when you take that nutrient separated. But when you take that, the people would lose like 10, 12% body fat by taking fat.
Just simply because it shuts the appetite down, and what it's doing for the nerves and the brain and the skin and on down the line. So very important, folks, as far as the fat in your diet. As we age, we need more fat in our diet, Tom, right? So we're talking fat. We need to hang around. We're going to chew the fat when we get back right after this break. Hang with us.